Senior Obama-era intelligence officials are firing back at accusations from the Trump administration that they manipulated intel about 2016 Russian election interference. In an op-ed in the New York Times, former CIA Director John Brennan and James Clapper, the former Director of National Intelligence, say the claims are part of a calculated distortion. In recent weeks, President Trump accused former President Obama of treason. Other top Trump intel officials spoke of what they say was a conspiracy to undermine Trump's first term. Alex Gangitano, White House reporter here at The Hill, joins us to discuss. Hey, Alex, so the crux of the case being made by Trump and his allies is that the Obama administration overhyped the assessment that Russia had a clear preference for Trump over Hillary Clinton in 2016, and that was then used by Democrats to tar Trump's election victory. How do Brennan and Clapper respond here?
Yeah, it was really interesting in this op-ed. First of all, one of the lines that stood out to me was that they said, "We find it deeply regrettable that the Trump administration continues to perpetuate the fictitious narrative that Russia did not interfere in the 2016 election." So basically, they go on to show some evidence of what they claim is evidence of also bipartisan support for a lot of what they were able to find in their review, in their Russia assessment. One of those, and we've seen and heard about this um, before as one of the points against what the Trump administration has claimed here, is that the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, which included Republican members, had said that that report was, validated. That included at the time former Senator Marco Rubio, now Secretary of State. So they pointed that out. They also said that in other probes, there was no evidence that the Obama administration had conducted any kind of conspiracy. They even said that now CIA Director Radcliffe ordered another review of the assessment and determined that the level of rigor put into this exceeded most intelligent assessments. So basically, that they did their due diligence. So they gave it a lot of examples into why this assessment should be taken and validated versus what now the Trump administration is putting out.
And the Trump administration, their officials have also questioned the use of the so-called Steele dossier in intel assessments about the 2016 election. The dossier is this collection of salacious claims about Trump's alleged ties to Russia that was later discredited. In that op-ed, Brennan and Clapper say they took special care to put the dossier into proper context.
That's right. And they bring up in the op ed that it's been largely discredited. They said that they've even testified under oath in the past that the reviews of the assessments have confirmed that the dossier was not used as a source, was not taken into account for their analysis or any of their conclusions. So that basically is saying that this should be discredited. They thought at the time it should be discredited, so they didn't use it, and not something that this administration should be leaning on.
Another point that Brennan and Clapper make is that the intel assessment that Russia was trying to help Trump had already been made prior to Election Day, but that intel did not come out until after Election Day, which they say shows their commitment to staying out of politics. I imagine this won't satisfy the president and his allies.
That's right. And, at this point, I don't think anything that any Obama era person puts out is going to satisfy this administration. But Clapper and Brennan do make a point to say that there was no mention of collusion in our report between the Trump campaign and the Russians. And it actually came directly down from President Obama at the time, who would emphasize that they should not talk about Russia's preference to Trump in terms of talking about this interference, and that those would be, political dynamite at the time. So they all understood that and made a really big effort to not try to politicize this. Now, of course, the Trump administration has gone to lengths to make this political, to even say that Obama was treasonous with some of what he did and that his allies were as well. And they're not dropping this claim. Of course, people are considering it to be something that people want to that the Trump administration wants to distract people from other things by putting this out, like the handling of the so-called Epstein files, and that they're, harping on this 2016 election claim in order to kind of move people's attention elsewhere.
How seriously should we take these investigations into Obama officials? I mean, Obama probably is immune thanks to that recent Supreme Court decision, but could people like Brennan and Clapper actually face charges, or are those investigations more of a political show?
Yeah, that immunity is such an interesting twist here. But in terms of how the others are feeling, it's definitely a mixed bag. I think the Obama officials are trying to figure out how not to give this too much credit and too much attention, but also how to defend themselves. Putting out op eds like this, we saw a pretty unprecedented statement from Obama himself about this. I was looking back at some statements we've seen. John Brennan told NBC News that I'm not really sure what's ahead and what their plans or intentions are. And Clapper told CNN that he would lawyer up. So I think just the fact that this administration comes with a lot of uncertainty, no one knows what their next act will be. These folks are kind of on edge, but also, it's worth thinking about if this is just something to throw fire onto the flame and see if this kind of sticks.
And one could argue that these type of investigations into the previous administration are the same thing that the Trump administration accused Democrats of doing. But we'll leave it at that. Alex Gangitano, White House reporter here at The Hill. Thanks so much.
Thank you.